Welcome to the Unwashed Asses, episode 126. Itchy shoulder. Recorded for Wednesday, September 11th. 11th of September. You'd think this would be a big day. 2019. Oh boy, it's been roller coaster. Actually, it's been pretty good so far. Got the boy for the week here. His mom's doing something, God knows what. She's like, hey, you want to take him for a week solid? I'm like, absolutely. Because it's been a year, or a little over a year, since I've had him for this much time. And I gotta say, it's amazing coming home and seeing your kid there. And, being able to give him a big hug and spend time with him and talk shop. Like, oh, what's going on in Roblox? Or, how many Pokemon did you catch today? What'd you learn in school? All the important stuff, and being able to, kind of sit and spend time with them and read them stories at night and tuck them into bed and fall asleep there. So your lovely fiance has to wake you up at 10:30. Like, you gonna stay there all night? You know what? I just might. Despite the two of us sharing a twin bed and my feet resting on the rails of the bunk bed there. It's been fantastic. So we're kind of halfway into things here, and it's been nice, waking them up in the morning and getting them ready for school. And today's picture day, and apparently he wasn't having any of it this morning. Just wants to play games, and it's rough because his mom and I live so far apart. When I got to take him to school, it's a bit of a drive, so we got to wake up early. When he wakes up, he just wants to play. It's like, sorry, buddy, I woke you up with, just enough time for you to get ready for school and go. I'm trying to give you as much sleep as I can because, school's important now that you're doing the full days, which apparently he's not a fucking fan of at all. Because pre-K, you do the half days. And I remember when I was a kid, though, in kindergarten, I did the half days. I was a morning kid. But apparently now they're doing full days, and he's already miles ahead of where I was as a kid. He's just so fucking smart. But he's having to wake up early, go to school, and then, by the time he gets home, it's close to 4 o'clock. He's wore out. It was a lot of driving for the day. And then thankfully, he's not had any homework. Like, for whatever reason, pre-K, he was getting homework every Friday, whereas kindergarten, different teacher. But I don't think kids should get homework, until like first grade, I think, is when that started for me. But again, things are different nowadays. But no, it's been great just coming home and spending time with him. Been burning through the Captain Underpants books, which if you have kids, I highly endorse them. They're a good, entertaining read for the kids. I know my boy loves them, but there's a lot of jokes that are definitely, geared towards adults, which, a lot of cartoons are doing similar things, like, Adventure Time and Regular Show and Amazing World of Gumball, where you can have fun together, and, like, the jokes that are, quote-unquote inappropriate go over the kid's head, hit the target audience with the adults, but there's still a little something that everybody can enjoy there. But we wrapped those up. I got to get them the rest of the collection. And started, I guess Kohl's a few years ago had put out these 5-minute Star Wars stories. So it's a bunch of short stories. And there's 2 books. One's for heroes and one's for villains. But as we finished up the villains one, I realized, no, this is just more heroes story. There wasn't anything real focus on the villains like we had in the heroes book. So it was kind of bullshit. Like, oh yeah, this is about the villains. Not so much. It didn't really tell the villain stories. And granted, you're not really going to get the villain's perspective of things because they're ripping them straight from the movies. Like, oh, this is how the droids escaped the Tantive 4 and made it down to Tatooine, and it was supposedly a story about Darth Vader. Darth Vader was only on 2 pages, and he had 3 lines. Meanwhile, it's all C-3PO, R2-D2, and Princess Leia. Like, this isn't a Darth Vader story, and same thing with the Jabba the Hutt story. It was just how the rebels broke Han out of carbonite and, you know, took down Jabba's sail barge and all that. And I was curious how they were going to handle, like, Slave Leia in that instance, because, again, it's a book geared towards kids, and the artwork, while a little bit cartoony, it kind of straddles that line where it's still, you know, you can appreciate the artwork. But, you know, they kept it very modest and tasteful, I guess, as you could, as much as you can with a slave outfit. But what was weird is when we reached the end of the villains book, the artwork totally changed. Like, it had been consistent through the heroes book and then 4 out of the 5 stories for the villains. But for whatever reason, the last one changed it up, and it looked like a weird fucked up episode of Archer. Like that same, like, cell shaded realism look, and it just looked terrible. Holy shit, did it look bad. Really kind of popped me out of it, but by that point, you know, the boy's already asleep. He doesn't give a shit. And then there's nothing better, you know, than reading to your kid and just watching them pass out, and they're not fighting you. They're not like, oh, you know, I'm hungry, or I gotta go to the bathroom, or I'm thirsty, or any of that, you know, typical bullshit excuses. They're out. And then you can, you know, go pass out on the couch because you're not staying awake past 9 anyways. I also picked up the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And, like, I understand he's a bit of... He's 5. I'm not going to ride him too hard about it, but he's a very scared little kid. So I'm like, okay, well, I like spooky stuff. Let's see if we can get you kind of liking spooky stuff now. And if not liking it, you know, making you not as afraid of it. So... I was in Target, saw it, I'm like, you know what, it's worth the $10. We'll grab volume 1. We've only made it through 1 story. It was definitely not at night, because he was looking through the book, looking at the artwork, and he's like, oh, I don't like any of this. And I remember as a kid, I did not like any of the artwork either. It's still super creepy shit. But we read The Big Toe, what was it, Saturday morning, and he did not like it. Not one bit. But I've been finding, like, my own voice, I guess, as I read these stories to him, where it's like, okay, you know, we're going to try and make this interesting or make the character stand out a little bit more, so we're going to give them different voices and try to, you know, portray as much personality as we can. And I'm fucking terrible at it, but, you know, practice makes perfect. So, stuff like that's, it's what's making the days, because right now work is just a fucking shit show. What was it, Sunday, I pull up to my first job, and I'm early, so we're not allowed to make customer contact before 8 a.m. So I'm sitting outside kind of going over the details on the job and kind of getting things ready, and I'm just sitting there, and somebody comes walking on up. And this is a pretty big pet peeve of any cable guy out there. Any one of them I've talked to, nothing is more infuriating. One of the most infuriating things is when people just decide to saunter on up to your truck because they want something. And, you know, I get it. You're the face of the company. You're the person that they see. Sorry about that. I did not turn down alert volume. There we go. So when they see you, they're gonna request something of you, and sometimes it's simple stuff like, oh, hey, do you have an extra remote? Which, you know, no big fucking deal. I'll give you an extra remote. Sometimes they want to drop off equipment because they don't want to drive to the local office, or they just happen to run into you, and it's like, technically I can do it. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, I can do it. And, you know, customer service is definitely a thing. You know, if I'm have the time, then absolutely I'll take the equipment, I'll make the call, I'll get it off your account. But then some people get weird. They're like, oh, I need a paper receipt. It's like, I don't give paper receipts. I don't give any receipts. You give it to me, I'll take care of it. Otherwise, you fucking deal with it how you see fit, but I'm not, no paper receipts. No mas. But sometimes it's dumb shit like, hey, can you come over to my house when you're done with this and do this for me? It's like, no, I cannot. You don't have an appointment. once I'm done with this house, I'm going to somebody else's house that has an appointment to take care of whatever they need. I can't just pop in willy-nilly. One, because, you know, there are other appointments. Two, there's a huge liability issue. It's like, you're just opening yourself up for problems. Oh yeah, the cable guy came by after he's at my neighbor's and raped the shit out of me. It's like, we have no proof other than, you know, the GPS. Like, oh yeah, he was definitely in that area. He might have raped the shit out of you. So it's frustrating, and people don't seem to realize that stuff. Especially when they're like, oh, it'll be real quick. It's like, no, there is no real quick when it comes to cable. Almost invariably, something is seriously wrong, or if it is something simple, it might take me a little while to find it, or what you want is outside my scope. Like, you want me to wall fish cables because you decided to mount your TV above your fireplace, or you want something moved, and it's like toning out an outlet takes a little bit of time, especially when we need to rebalance the system. Anywho, it's 7:50 in the morning. I'm sitting in a lake town, so it's a bit more high end. I'm at apartments, which is weird. I usually don't go to apartments in that town. It's mostly like high-rise condos, if anything, or lake homes, you know, like on the lakes. But this was an apartment in the middle of town. Not necessarily low income. They're nice apartments. Just, you know, it's out of place for that town. And this lady comes, kind of like, I see her in my rearview mirror, and like she's making a beeline. Fuck me, I know what's gonna happen here. She's got her sweats on, cigarette hanging out of her mouth. Roll down the window. She's like, "Are you here for me?" Like, depends. Are you, you know, such and such address? No. Like, well, can you change my box? Not right now. Do you have an appointment for today? No, I don't have an appointment. Then no, I can't swap your box. Biggest reason is I can't access your account. If I can't access your account, I can't change the equipment on it. It's like, oh, okay, well, I figured I'd ask while you're here. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to call in and make an appointment or go to the local store. Walks off. Not 2 minutes later, comes back. You sure you can't swap my box? I just wanted a DVR. I just have the standard box. Like, I definitely cannot help you with that, because that requires account changes, billing changes, because DVR is listed as a different service. And she seemed more annoyed that I imagine she perceived that I just wouldn't, whereas in reality I couldn't. I don't have the means. Without a work order, without a job, I can't modify anything on the account. And without an appointment, I can't step foot in your house. Like, it's just... Plus, there's the whole setup and configuration of the box. It's, how is it escape people? How do they feel so... Is it that they feel so entitled? Like, why won't you help me? I am here. I asked you for help. And nothing's fucking worse than driving through, like, the private golf courses and dealing with the residents there. It's like, they expect everything now, and we've had it before where someone was like, you guys wouldn't have jobs if it weren't for us coming up here. It's like, fuck off. Fuck yourself. Nobody likes it when you come up here. You guys fuck up all the roadways with all your traffic. There's nothing up here to do aside from the, you know, going boating or sitting by the lake. But instead of doing that, you fuckers insist on having 10 TVs in your house and watching them non-fucking stop. Oh, what do you mean I can't take a shit and watch the TV? I need a box in the bathroom. And that's not exaggeration. I've been to plenty of houses where they fucking have a TV in every single one of their 3 bathrooms. Sorry, had to vent. And on top of that, routing's just been bullshit. Just been fucking terrible. Like, take for instance, Monday, I get a new connect in a town in Illinois. New connects are, the home has never had cable services, and so typically, while they might have interior cable wiring from like antenna or another provider, we have to get a line from, say, like the pole to the house, and then hook it into that existing wiring. If they have another provider, run our own wiring, or if they don't have any wiring, just do it all brand new. It's a very time-consuming process. So I have one as a 2 to 3. I get there at 2. And shortly after I clock on that one, they give me another 2 to 3 in a town 40 minutes away. I message up, like, not sure if you noticed this, but the job you gave me is 40 minutes away from the job that I'm on in the same time frame, and I'm going to be at this one for a few hours. Anybody else I could get moved to? Oh, no. No, nobody's available, nobody's close enough. I'm like, okay. So I finished the New Connect, which was a shit show in and of itself, as nobody spoke any fucking English, and my Spanish is fucking piss poor. And they had another provider, so I had to find a way to tie into that system because nobody could understand, despite doing my best to translate, that it was not probably going to be a good idea to put the modem in the same spot as their TV service because, long story short, the frequencies don't play well. Our two systems don't mesh well. We have equipment that can split the signal and make it work, but it's not always guaranteed. So try to explain that to them, like, I'll try and get it working here, but just in case I can't, is there another spot? They didn't understand that. So that was a struggle. Got it working, got everything taken care of, and then proceeded to drive the 40 minutes out to my other 2 to 3. Get there at 4:45. And then proceed to have to rewire their house because it's just a fucking shit show. And then there's a 5 to 6 that I have to get to, and I get there at 6:15. And there's other work in the pool. It's like, how do you fuck up so badly and then not try to reach out? Not even for the technician's sake, like, you know, making sure they can get home at a reasonable time. But it's not fair to the customers. Like, oh yeah, we told you we'll have somebody there between 2 and 3. But go fuck yourself because we already overbooked them. Like, they're double and triple booked in these time frames through no fault of their own. We just decided, oh, they could handle all this extra work in this time slot. It's like, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. And we bring it up and we bring it up and we bring it up and we make notes of our routes and we document all the evidence, but higher ups don't want to fucking listen. And it's aggravating. So when I get to come home and see my boy and spend time with him, it makes all the fucking difference in the world. It makes, makes it worthwhile doing what I do. Knowing that, he gets food on the table and cool new Mario shirts, and we can do things like, oh, you want that Lego set? Sure, whatever. No big deal. Let's build some fucking Legos together, buddy. But, yeah. So that's going to wrap this one up. I have another episode up Friday. Apologies for getting the Monday episode up late. I had it pre-recorded. Just, been busy and haven't had the time to get it uploaded as quickly as I would have liked. So you're going to get these kind of back-to-back. But, better. I'm just going to stop now. So, do you have your own concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques, or just want to shoot the shit? You know the email address. It's down in the show notes. And we'll talk to you next time. Blood for the Blood God.